welcome back to the second David 67 Celtic News uh, YouTube channel video of the day. This one going to be a quick update on the Celtic women's team, who ended 2023 with a rather disappointing flat 1-1 draw with Hearts away from home in the rain and on the plastic pitch outside Edinburgh. Being a rather rotten weekend all round for me. Celtic women's team drawing, Celtic men's team obviously very disappointing, lacklustre. Lost 2-0 to Hearts on the Saturday, and several other of my teams that I support in football and other sports also losing or drawing and having disappointing performances all weekend. And so it's been a bit of a rotten weekend all round for me. However, there is still a lot of hope and expectation around the women's team. They do lie second in the Scottish Women's Premier League, 3 points behind Rangers. However, they do have a 5-goal advantage in terms of goal difference, and so a win over Rangers in the next league fixture and getting the better of the 2 games in the split later in the season, and Celtic would be odds on to win the title. We do remain 5 points clear of Glasgow City Women, who are in 3rd place, and our goal difference is something like 30 goals better than Glasgow City Women, and so our 2nd place in the league does look secure. And so I think with a bit of an injection of fitness to the players in the new year and maybe a couple of new signings to strengthen the attack, and a bit more variety in midfield, and I think Celtic have every chance of a domestic treble. Celtic's women's side on a bit of a mid-season break, and the next game isn't until January the 7th, which will be a Scottish Cup match against Ayr. Soon after that, they have the important League Cup or Sky Cup semi-final against Rangers, which may be switched to Celtic Park depending on the demand for tickets. And I'm intending to go to the match when Celtic play Rangers in the semi-final next year, if all things go well over the Christmas break, etc. So, coming to yesterday's game, I have to say I was rather surprised to see Colette Kavanagh out wide on the left. Kavanagh primarily plays well through the middle, isn't really the most left wide player designed player, tends to be much better in the combative hustle and bustle of central midfield beside Natalie Ross and Shane Meng-Yu. Would more have expected the other Shane Meng-Glu, to be out on the left, or maybe Maria McAneny now that she's back from injury, or having Paula Partido or Syria Barkley out on the left. However, Kavanagh did play out on the left. She played the full 90 minutes. Didn't seem to be quite so dangerous or creative as she usually is. And Celtic did look rather disjointed, particularly in the first half. Hearts made a great start, scoring after 8 minutes, with their central striker Tim scoring well, following up a save by Kelsey Doherty, following a mistake by Kelly Clark that let the Hearts striker in. Hearts remained well in the game in the first half. Celtic had a few half chances, but didn't really look like they were fully up for the game. A lot of them seemed to be struggling with the wet artificial pitch. A lot of passes out going and being overhit and underhit. And Celtic didn't really get into their rhythm. Things were much more improved in the second half, although Fran Alonso, the manager, was rather slow to make any changes to the lineup or to the tactics. or to the players, which is a wee bit unusual for him. He's usually very proactive with his changes. There was no mention of an injury to Shane Menglu, and so it was very surprising that she didn't come on wide on the left. A few changes were made. Surprisingly, Amy Gallagher was taken off when the match was still at 1-1 and the game was there to be won. And she is one of the 2 or 3 most dangerous players for scoring goals in Scottish women's football. She and the current Ranger, Kit Lefersky, have formed a very good partnership up front, and just recently she and Murphy Agnew scored a good number of goals and have formed a good partnership up front, but nobody yesterday seemed to be really at the races for Celtic. I do wonder whether that the uncertainty over whether Fran Alonso is staying as Celtic women's team manager next in 2024 has affected team morale or team cohesion, or whether possibly Fran Alonso has confirmed that this was going to be his last game as Celtic women's team manager. He is apparently heavily sought after by Monterrey in Mexico and Houston in the American Women's Soccer League. And so I do wonder whether he has confirmed that yesterday was his last game, and that between now and the restart of the games in early January, Celtic will be looking for presumably a caretaker manager and then a full-time manager after that. Celtic also said to be very much looking for an additional striker to go along with Agnew, Gallagher and Lefersky. I think if Kit Lefersky is back fully fit, as is hoped for the start of 2024, Celtic's fortunes and success will go up quite considerably, as she has been, for me, the player of the year, along with Craig and Caitlin Hayes in defence. Celtic's form and success has gone down a wee bit since Kit Lefersky first got injured in the Champions League match, which we eventually lost, and then she's kind of been in and out of the team in the couple of months since then, and I do hope that she's now back fully fit and will be ready to start the vital second half of the season from January 7th onwards. So, 1 or 2 wee baffling selection choices by Fran Alonso. Players not really looking at their best. Caitlin Hayes did score a nice goal in the second half, around the 50 minutes mark. A few half chances for Celtic in and around the box, a couple of long shots, well saved by the Hearts goalkeeper. And then in the 90th minute, Caitlin Hayes probably should have done better with a back post header. Quite how she got it over the bar, I'm not very sure. She did well actually get up well, did seem to get over the ball, and yet the ball seemed to take off a wee bit and ended up just on top of the goal and then behind the netting. When I was watching the game, I was sure that the ball had gone in, and indeed it did look like the ball was resting in the net. However, it hit the fencing at the back of the goal and rebounded and was lying on the netting at the back on the back of the goal rather than inside the net, which was rather disappointing. So quite a lot of huffing and puffing by the Celtic women's side in the second half, but only able to get 1 goal back. As I said earlier on, it does mean that we lie 3 points behind Rangers, but with a 5-goal advantage for goal difference. And so, much like the men's team, the second half of the season is very much up for the grabs. And I am equally hopeful that the women's team will win the league over their Rangers counterparts, just like I'm also fully confident that the men's team will have a good second half to the season, and beat Rangers to the title in the end. Kind of similar to how things were in Ange Postecoglou's first season, when we and a very important win over Rangers that seemed to kickstart our run to the title, which obviously in Angie's first season secured the title and led on to 5 out of 6 trophies in Angie's 2 years at Celtic. I will keep any of the Celtic women's team fans up to date if there are any changes in terms of Fran Alonso coming or going, or confirmation that he is staying, and also any transfer speculation regarding new players coming in the transfer window for Celtic as they try to secure the Women's League and Cup treble. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and if anybody does like my coverage of the Celtic women's team, please do subscribe to the channel, which will help the good word regarding Celtic's women's team get to more and more women's football fans and Celtic fans all around the world. So please do, if you can, click that subscribe button, help the coverage of Celtic women's team and women's football in Scotland get wider and wider circulation. And also feel free to pop any comments regarding the women's team and my analysis of things into the comment section. So for today, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, goodbye and hail hail!